me being the person I am, I'm not letting that slide. So we are back to do another video, and I'm going to try to make myself as perfectly clear as possible. Someone had an issue with the title that I made on yesterday, and that title was Joni Lamb, Rest in Piss or Peace. And it was a question. I didn't say for her to rest in piss. That term is something that the young people kind of throw around. And I specifically know a person recently that passed away this year. I think that term should apply to. And that man had opportunities to try to make right the wrongs that he has done over the years and ignored to do so. So therefore, I'm not shedding any tears about the death of that particular person. That's not necessarily, I know that's not popular. I know that's not something that a quote unquote Christian should say, but this man had a lot of opportunities to make right the wrongs that he did and just chose not to do so. And he damaged a lot of people. He hurt a lot of people. And who am I referring to? Let me take Joni's picture off here. The person I am referring to, I am a hip hop head. I come up in music. Music is my love. So it angers me, and it's not something that I enjoy to have to highlight here. Why is this picture doing this? But the gentleman that I am referring to, I just even, I don't like the images to look like this, but hold on. Let me pull this picture up. The individual I'm referring to, give me 1 second. Let me pull this guy's picture up. Okay, we're going to pull up 3 people. All right, I got those images. All right, I'm a hip hop guy. Always have been, always will be. Love hip hop music. I don't agree with all of it, but I do love a lot of it. This guy here is one of the pioneers of rap music. One of them. Not the, but one of them. And we are referring to African Bambaataa, Zulu Nation. Pop rock, planet rock, very, very popular song in the late 70s. He was accused of molestation of many young men. And one of those guys has a very popular YouTube page. His name is Hassan Campbell. Just go to Hassan's page and listen to a lot of his videos and talk about his experiences with African Bambaataa in the Zulu Nation. It doesn't bring me happiness to have to talk about this, knowing what this man did and the blueprint that he laid in rap music, but we can't ignore what he did. What he did was wrong. It was egregious. He had opportunities to try to make right what he was accused of, had no compassion, and really didn't care. And he passed away this year. He's out of here. Another individual, I'm sure you guys remember this because I put this in the story yesterday when we initially covered this story of Joni's passing. You guys remember Jerry Sandusky of the Penn State University, that big scandal with all those kids that were molested and abused over the years with the football program? Yeah, this is unfortunate. As a matter of fact, when I lived in Columbus, Ohio, there was a story that nobody ever really talked about involving the wrestling team in Columbus, Ohio. That when the wrestlers had some type of injury or something happened to them and they went to the team doctor, what that doctor was doing to those young men. Nobody wants to talk about the abuse that these victims deal with. So a lot of times we care more about the legacy of a person or the legacy of a program than the actual individuals that were abused. Now, I chose not to pop this guy's picture up yesterday, but I'm going to do it today. And I blurred out his face on purpose, just out of respect for his family. But what he did was egregious. I knew this guy. He's no longer alive. I knew this man. He used to play basketball with us at our church, and he was accused and went to prison for years, allegedly abusing his own granddaughter. Respected businessman, had a very successful business here in my local city, went to our church, heard the word, because when we do basketball, we pray, we share, some devotionals and stuff like that. And this guy chose to do what he did, and it caught up with him, and he ended up going to prison for it, died in prison. Pretty good basketball player too. The guy had some pretty good skills for his age. It's egregious. It was egregious what he was doing. And people have their vices, addictions, and unfortunately his was, on the sicker side, but people have their vices and addictions, and you have to learn how to control those things. And if you do not, especially you claim to be a Christian, you have to live with the decisions that you made. And that was the decision that he made, was to abuse his own grandchild. I mean, why am I bringing those topics up? Because this lady in the comment section yesterday who wanted to attack me, and I thought I was kind of respectful to Joni yesterday. Like, I didn't really go in like I could have gone in, because, if you don't know my story, I shared it. I worked in Christian television since I'm 44 now. I've been working in Christian television since I was 15 years old. And I'm 44, and I'm still doing it now. I don't work for a television station, but I independently produce 2 podcasts, or 3, because I have my own, but 2 other podcasts that I produce for, that expose and deals with a lot of things going on, within these ministries and churches. I have a lot of stuff in my hard drive that I could share. And the hard, I don't want to unhook it because it's hooked up right now, but I could show you the hard drive. Yeah, I could go in right now because I have audio footage, and I have a lot of audio files of stuff that these pastors have done and they are doing. But this woman went in on me yesterday. And let me find her name. Yeah, we're gonna give you the shine that you want. Okay, her name is Grace Latour, I guess. She says, your commentary speaks to your character, no one else's, and you're simply lacking humanity, but using clickbait for views. Man, my page, I only have I don't even think I'm a little, maybe like 18 views, 18 subscribers away from 1,500. I have a dismal page. I don't have a lot of views. I don't have a lot of subscribers on my page. Mainly, I choose to just react to music because music is my first love. May take me forever to get to 10,000, but I choose to kind of focus mainly on music. Sometimes I get into sports. Sometimes I get into some of the trending topics, but I mainly kind of stick to reacting to music. Now, I know within music, there's a lot of topics that I could cover. Drama, this person went to prison, this woman is pregnant, this, that. I don't care about those things. I kind of more so stick to my lane and just kind of stick to the music. I know that I could talk about a whole lot more than I choose to talk about. And I could get an algorithm more if I would react to certain things, but I just don't have a passion for some of the things that that some people choose to talk about. Like, for example, the whole situation with Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty. I don't know anything about it. It's none of my business. I wish both guys well, but I could talk about that and get more views and subscribers. That's not my lane. I stick to what I do. So I'm not doing stuff for clickbait. The reason I'm reacting to Joni's story, because it hits home. Because I worked in the Christian television industry for one company for over 18 years, who the company was actually bigger than Daystar. You know what company that is. And now I'm producing content, and a lot of the content that I've been producing has to deal with Joni Lamb. Those of you who are watching, you want to connect with me on other social media platforms, you go to Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, X, formerly known as Twitter, and TikTok, all at I'm in the Hills. I am INTHAHILLZ. If you're watching on YouTube, you want to support the show, you can send a super chat. You can also donate via PayPal at DoubleETV. That's 2 E's, DoubleETV101. Or you can donate Venmo or Cash App at I'm in the Hills. I am INTHAHILLZ. Check out my production website, www.doubleetv.com. And check out my music website, www.inthehills.net. And that is with a Z, not an S. I would love to connect with you on all social media platforms. But let me know your thoughts. What have you seen? But yeah, I don't think I've said anything that's out of the ordinary. This is my experience. These are things that I've seen, and I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of people hurt. I've seen a lot of people. I told the story yesterday about the, when I first started working at the TV station, a prostitute had called in, and she was looking for help. And I'm green. I'm 17, 18. I'm on fire for God. I prayed with her, and I'm like, why don't you go to the church and get some help? And she's laughed and told me that the pastors were trying to get her to perform services for them. As a matter of fact, I have a friend who, and I've helped her ministry. It's a ministry, and we partner together. I've done some things to help her. It's a nonprofit in Columbus, Ohio. They help women that are in human sex trafficking. It's called One Divine Line to Health with Esther Flores. She's a good friend of mine. And we hear the stories all the time. She's in the streets really trying to, save and help these women, provide shelter, food, resources, clothing. She's a nurse, medical help, and everything for these women who are in human sex trafficking. And a lot of those women, when they've gone to the churches, A, they don't find help, and B, the pastors that should be trying to help them are trying to have sex with them. So that's the world that we're dealing with right now, that the church has dropped the ball, and we got to find a way to try to help people and restore the relationship with people, to let them know that even if the pastor is wrong, and even if the pastor lets you down, God will not let you down. All right, please check out the community section where you guys can vote. I put in little friendly debates. You guys can voice your opinions, so check that out. We do have merch that's pinned in the live chat or comment section as well. If you want to donate to the show, you can send a super chat or a Cash App, a Venmo to I'm in the Hills, or PayPal. You can send something to DoubleETV101. If you're a Prince fan, go to Facebook, type in Purple Nation, join over 26,000 people where we celebrate the life and legacy of Prince. That's pinned in the live chat or comment section as well. We do a weekly top 10 countdown. That's pinned. We do have new episodes that are coming real soon. Lastly, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We would love to have you be a part of this family here at Terrance Hill TV. We definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let's see, someone has a comment. No, stay out of the church. They're trying to get us. No, stay out of the church. They're trying to get us drink blood. Scrolls. Hey, man, it's a lot of craziness, bro. It's a lot of craziness. Sometimes I see little videos on TikTok and stuff. It's like, man, some of these churches are like a complete circus right now. But I appreciate you guys for rocking with us. Joni Lamb is deceased. Prayers for her family. I do hope that other ministers and preachers can learn from this. And maybe you are a pastor or a minister or something, and definitely evaluate your heart, evaluate your life, try to help as many people as you can, lead people to Christ. Don't make stuff about you. Some words to live by, and try to help people. Really appreciate you guys for rocking with us. One more thing before we get out of here. If you want to support us, you can send a Cash App. You can also send a super chat as well, but preferable Cash App, because YouTube does take like 30% of those Cash Apps. So of those super chats. So if you want to support the program, we would definitely appreciate it. And we're gonna do more and more content like this as well. So be on the lookout for that. But I had to hop on the microphone. I read that comment today. It's like, lady, come on, like stop it. Like don't try to attack me, because I asked the question. I didn't, and even in this video, I said very little to be disrespectful towards Joni Lamb, although she did a lot of egregious things that I don't agree with. But nevertheless, she's out of here and she has to answer to God, not Terrance. All right, appreciate you guys for rocking with us. Definitely appreciate it. And hey, that's that.
And why mess up a good thing? And that's that.
I'm so high with no edibles. You ask how does it feel? It's incredible. And now I'm standing on my pedestal. Y'all got no morals, y'all unethical. I'm so high with no edibles. You ask how does it feel? It's incredible. And now I'm standing on my pedestal. Y'all got no morals, y'all unethical. I got a baby face, call it